So I can still remember when I was a kid, 5 or 6, I remember swinging on my swing, and I had this aspiration of becoming like a astronaut or a pilot. And when you were kids, you probably had those same aspirations to be a doctor or a nurse or a teacher or policeman or woman or a fireman or firewoman. Nowadays, it's more like aspirations of being a dancer, actor, artist, or musician. Funny, no one says that they want to be president. But then it was because, it looked exciting or it was cool. We crave attention as children. We seek that gratification that we got. When we pleased our parents, it was that proof that we were doing something right. Then when we got older, it switched to recognition by peers and our classmates. Usually happened in school activities, mostly in sports. I think all of us still have those desires of greatness, attention, maybe power or superiority. Even later in life, it happens in our jobs. Sometimes we're trying to make ourselves feel like we're more important, get more money, go up that corporate ladder. We look for a higher status. But what really does that bring us? For me, it meant more responsibility and more work, more people asking more of me. I think that's what Jesus might have meant when he said, "You don't know what you're asking for." But our humanity gets the better of us. When we're at the higher stature, having that more power, we try to influence others. We try to tell them what to do. We inflict our control over them, intentionally or unintentionally. What God asks of us is contrary to our human nature or our social expectations. Even James and John fell into that trap. They seek a position where others can look on them and say, "Wow, look where they sit. They must really be important." Jesus tells them in today's gospel that greatness does not come through authority or power. It comes from the willingness to serve, willingness to be humble. Throughout Jesus' life, he tries to tell us that love is more important, that love for fellow man. You can't show love for someone if you're trying to control them or exert some kind of power or authority over them. Love comes from humility, realizing that everyone is more important than yourself. That is what Jesus is asking us to do. He tells us to be servants to all, to be a slave to other people, to everyone around us. Our lives are supposed to make things better for other people, not necessarily make it easy on ourselves or better for us. Nothing can explain this more than an example of being a parent. How often do we put our kids first above ourselves? Or how often did our parents put us ahead of themselves? And when we do that, it's not for our power or authority. It's to make life easier and better for our children or anybody else. To try to help them to become the best person that they could be. I think that's what we're supposed to be doing for not only our children, but for our spouses and our friends and our co-workers and everybody we meet. Jesus showed us that there is no greater gift than to lay down your life for your friends. Teacher, we want you to do for us whatever we ask of you. In comments like that, our intentions are not for the betterment of others. It's not for the benefit of our community. It's a tough thing what Jesus is asking us to do. How many of us are willing to be humble, to think of others all of the time? Not only for our loved ones, but for everybody. It's tiring. It's a lot of work. means a lot of sacrifice. Sacrifices are not easy for us. Jesus understands where we're coming from. He understands our weaknesses and our infirmities. He understands the difficulties in our lives. He understands human nature, which is really contrary to what God is asking of us in our human nature. It's difficult to overcome our human nature. It was difficult for the apostles. But they are examples to us to show us that their weakness, and in their weakness, they still became the holy men that they are. It gives us hope. So tonight we ask for God's grace. We ask for God's strength to overcome the weaknesses of our human nature, and to pursue that holiness that we should be aspiring to become the children God wants us to be.